Ralo just exposed the whole CMG, Yo Gotti and Moneybag Yo for basically hating on Dolph. He knew they were the ones that were mainly hating on him the most. And so Dolph was telling Ralo what was going on between him and Yo Gotti through the years. Because Dolph, he was close with Ralo. They talked all the time and everything. Ralo even came to Memphis on many occasions, but he never went to Yo Gotti's hood because he knew that there was nothing for him to do around Yo Gotti, like for real. Like at the end of the day, he realized that Yo Gotti hating on Dolph was what made it to where he wasn't gonna rock with anyone from CMG at all, because at the end of the day, Ralo showed his loyalty to PRE and Dolph. That's why he's still representing for him right now. Now, Ralo didn't want to send any of his people after the alleged Dolph suspects because he was already being watched by the feds. But he called Maurice Hill, he called the cookie shop, and he asked him, tell me everything that happened that day. Tell me everything, and don't lie to me. Don't leave nothing out. And so this is when Ralo pressed Maurice Hill. He said that basically the whole thing behind Young Dolph, it was very fishy. It was a lot going on that was swept under the rug and that don't add up, especially the fact that we need to see the footage. And so Ralo, he tried to pay for the footage to come out, but they told him somebody already bought it. Somebody from Memphis, they were saying that it could have been Yo Gotti that already bought the footage. So Ralo was trying to get the footage so he could release it so that everybody could try to get justice for Dolph. And basically, we wanted to see the most important things of even Dolph going up in there and how the whole thing played out, because we saw that picture. When they showed Ralo the picture from the two guys that came up, he said he don't know who they were, but he knows for a fact that whatever happened is not the way that it was explained with the reports that came out. And so he knows that there was some type of setup that happened that day. The fact that everybody rushed to protect the Yo Gotti's mom restaurant, Privé restaurant and everything, he said that this has something to where they knew that they had the meeting at Privé the night before. Ralo, once he heard about that, he said, you telling me all the CMG dudes that had something to do with hating on Dolph was all in the same room the night before, basically. And then the next day, the whole thing happens. And so this is why Ralo didn't talk to none of the CMG guys or do features with them, because he already knew what was going down. He knew what time it was. And at the end of the day, he realized that this is when he has to show his loyalty to Dolph more than ever and try to help them and pretty much send his condolences and help the family. Ralo talked to Mia J, and Mia J explained to him all of the little things, that the issues that's happening and her struggles after Dolph and what Dolph left behind. And he gave her the advice on what to do with the $12 million that Dolph left behind and his car collection, everything from the property to real estate and all of that. And so he tried to tell Trey Dolph was good, he was a good dad and this and that, and he was pretty much now he was being a good role model to all of Dolph's people that's growing up, because he knows how important this is to Mia J. And so at the end of the day, the whole entire city of Memphis, they rocking with Ralo because of how much he's doing to give back support and showing love to all the Dolph fans and Dolph family. Like Ralo, he's taking care of the people that Dolph was helping before, making sure that he makes sure that they have food on the table and roof over their heads and everything like that. And really, you got to realize that people got to give Ralo the credit, because Key Glock and them, they said they were shocked at first. They didn't know what to do. A lot of the PRE dudes, the artists and everything, they ain't have it as much as Dolph did. And so they could do only what they could. And Dolph gave them all the jewelry and everything like that. So they pretty much got a lot of benefits from, what Dolph left behind for everybody. But Ralo, he stepped up and was like, okay, I'm going to take care of all the people that Dolph was taking care of, because that's the people that pretty much got left on the hook. They don't have the big dude like Dolph no more helping them out with all of the stuff that they need for back to school things, the back to school drives, turkey drives, and all the holidays and everything like that, birthdays. And so this is what they were depending on Dolph for. So it's a lot of people are giving a standing ovation to Ralo for him doing that. And so that's why people from Memphis is rocking with Ralo more than they rocking with Yo Gotti right now. So y'all let me know, are y'all rocking with Ralo? Are y'all rocking with Yo Gotti? Or are y'all rocking with Ralo and Dolph? When Ralo got out and he seen Yo Gotti and he seen Boosie, he didn't even want to say nothing to them or go to none of their parties or concerts or nothing like that, because he knew those were the people that was basically either hating on his homie or talking about him and saying that he was snitching or whatever when they didn't know what was actually going on. And so that's why the things were the way that they were. And Ralo wasn't messing with a lot of people. He keep his circle small, man. Ralo already had his whole crew, Fam Goon and all them people that's in there, and then he basically outside of that, it was Dolph and Gucci Man. He was pretty much trying to get his money up with them and doing all the certain little things that they had going on. And so now he realized that, okay, everybody that was talking wrong about Dolph, anybody that was basically saying that he was telling or anything like that, now he's like, okay, they got to stand on business about that, because at the end of the day, he not just going to let Yo Gotti and them disrespect Young Dolph like that. That's why when he got out, the first thing he did was pretty much say that he not on CMG's side at all, and he's PRE forever and Young Dolph. And so this is the first thing that Ralo did. He had to let everybody know and let it be known what the issue is and where he stands with the whole Yo Gotti and Young Dolph beef, because he was one of the main people that were on Young Dolph's side. Him and Dolph had a lot going on, and they was making a lot of money. And so Yo Gotti, he was hating on Dolph. And so when Ralo got Dolph back like that, since Ralo already was locked up, if he was out, he wouldn't have let Dolph be like slacking like that or nothing. He wouldn't have let Dolph just be outside or alone like that, where basically he didn't have no security or nothing with him. And so when he went up to that cookie shop and when everything happened at the Benihana's and all that, and so once Ralo heard the news, he was like, man, I wish I was out there, because he would have had at least 10 to 15 people protecting Dolph at all times to make sure that he already seen the hate coming from a mile away, how Yo Gotti was envious and jealous of Dolph and everything. And so he already seen this going to a certain extent. And so that's why Ralo said if he was out and he was with Dolph that day, none of that would have happened, man. And he would have said that Yo Gotti and them wouldn't have been able to touch Dolph. And that was that, because Ralo had basically a whole army behind him, and his whole crew that's what they was doing in Atlanta. Ralo never got touched. Never seen the whole entire case. They didn't know what was really going on. So when Ralo, you have to pretty much understand that Ralo, he knows what he said, and he can't talk about every little thing. He can't bring up all the details, because he probably already has something he signed where he knows he can't talk about it, and that's the condition of some of his release. And so a lot of people, they know how these things work, man, and that they are thinking that Ralo had gotten out way too quick or whatever, that it wasn't long enough of a bid that he did. Boosie had to do a long time, and Ralo didn't have to do as much time as Boosie did. And so this is why, basically, that's another reason they don't believe Ralo actually was able to do his whole entire bid fairly without saying any names, without pointing at anybody. And so that's they wanted to check all of his things that they were saying. So they started asking everybody who was pretty much locked up with Ralo, and they're trying to get the whole entire picture together of what was going on between him and the other dude or whatever they were talking about.